Welcome to episode 22 of Play Some D. As always, you got me, your host, Coach D. Yeah, your coach, your host, D. I just go by a bunch of different terminologies, but yes, this is episode 22, and this one's gonna be like real laid back, relaxed, and cool, man. I don't. It's not gonna be nothing crazy. It's gonna be some laid back topics today. I mean, the Olympics started. Shout out to all the Olympians competing. I've been watching it actually. I almost thought about doing just a skateboard segment, putting in an OT or something, and just talking about skateboarding because there's a lot of things that I feel like I could have done in life, and skateboard's not one of them. But I've always loved watching people skateboard. Always, always, always. It's never good at it. There's just one thing I could skate. I couldn't do any tricks. I could skate on the skateboard and wheelie it or whatever, but I could never flip it or land on it or anything like that. Never tried to a lot, but I knew right away that it just wasn't. Skateboarding was never my thing, but I always love watching it. So I did watch Street yesterday. I watched Nigel Houston, and yeah, he didn't win, but it was pretty cool to watch that. I mean, that was the first time they just introduced Street to the Olympics, and that it was good. It was a good, entertaining watch. But yeah, the Olympics are here. That's not only one of the topics I talk about today. So, but yeah, shout out to those individuals. There's just a number of different things going on, but I want to keep it real super light. And this week is going to be obviously talk about the world champion Milwaukee Bucks. And basketball is over, kind of. In the Olympics, the Big Three is going on, and TBT. I think it's still called TBT, the basketball tournament. So it's still basketball, but NBA basketball it's a wrap. My nose is super itchy. So, world champion Milwaukee Bucks, USA basketball. Definitely we'll talk about USA basketball. I'll be talking about Kanye, but not specifically Kanye, but I'll do a Kanye tier list because Kanye's in the news this week, and we'll get there in fourth quarter. And then I'll talk about Amazon's new video game or upcoming video game, New World. So that's on the agenda. I'm going to get right into it, but as always, totally appreciate any love, feedback, comments, likes, notifications, all that good stuff. But yes, please, if you like, subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff, so you can see when Play Some D go live when I drop the vid on your head. Yeah. Episode 22. Let's get into it. Let's tip this baby off with the world champion Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to get to cutting segments and posting them as well, but I said if Phoenix did not finish it, which they could have finished it in 5. They could have gotten it done in 5. I think they could have. That's where they would have had to end it at 5, 6, or 7. Looked Bucks all day long. There was moments in both games where they could have swung, but Milwaukee had better players, bigger players, and Giannis was the best player. So those usually, outside of the Miami Heat when they lost to the Mavericks, the best players usually win it. And then the Lakers. I think the Lakers, when they lost to Detroit, those are the 2 times I remember were the best players in the finals. Or in the finals, I'll say. Usually in the finals, by that time, the best players usually win. And Milwaukee had the better players, especially with Giannis being healthy. And like I said, if Giannis was healthy, if he didn't get hurt, I think it would have been over quicker. I think it could have been a sweep, could have been 5 games, something along those lines. But I did predict the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis dominated 50 ball. He had a lot of moments in the finals that were big. The alley-oop was dope, but that was Drew's play. The steal. The block was, I think, the most incredible thing I've seen in a long time. LeBron's block was big. LeBron's block was probably bigger because it was a game 7. It all mattered. His block was bigger, but Giannis's block was crazier. LeBron was locked in on the block. He chased it down and blocked it. There was nothing. Giannis is defending the pick and roll. He turns opposite all the way around, completely all the way around, times it, blocks it, and it was just a crazy athletic play. It's one of those plays where you're wild, and I'm rarely wild. I watch sports for a competition. Football, don't really watch baseball, but I mean I watch sometimes. But big moments, I guess you compare like home runs or like over the wall catches in baseball, or like big hits in football, or crazy catches or crazy runs, basketball dunks. There's the Anthony Edwards dunk this year, probably was the dunk of the year. That was it was a couple of good dunks this year, but that one, but there's a few things. There's like a couple plays a year that there's just gotta go wow. That one was the Giannis block was absolutely one of them. And to close those guys out with a 50-piece. A lot of people said, Booker needed to do more. Chris Paul had a good game 6 actually, but everybody played quite mediocre outside of Giannis. And if you factor in what he normally shoots from the free throw line, so if he shot his normal percentage, the game is tied. Say he misses 6 or 7 free throws, the game's tied, and game 6 looks a little differently. So he just went out and balled game 6, and kudos to him for that. Kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think I had to look back at my videos, but I did predict if the Lakers weren't there that Milwaukee would win this thing. If the Lakers were healthy, I just felt like they just had the best 2 players, and they would have got it done. I believe that if LeBron and AD was healthy, I just don't think they would have been beaten. This year, next year, all that changes next year. All of that changes. So yeah, it was competitive outside of game 3. I think game 3 and game 1, I guess. I think Phoenix won by. I think they won by. Oh, I did have it up here. NBA Finals. Phoenix won by 13 and 10 in game 1 and game 2. So yeah, I think game 1 and game 3 were the only games that weren't competitive. Every other game, 4 was, 5 was, and like I said, 6 definitely was an entertaining watch. I know the finals ratings were. I don't have that up, but I can do that really quick. Ratings. I think the ratings were up. NBA Finals. 2021 NBA Finals finished up 32% in viewership versus 2020 NBA Finals. And also, I think that's a little bit skewed because I just think 2020 with the pandemic just flipped a lot of numbers where I just think it's an outlier and really nothing should be really compared to that. So I probably would then go and compare it to the 2019 finals, which was the one that Kawhi won, right? The Raptors. That one would be more. I think that's right. That was the one Kawhi won. That would have been the Warriors. That's probably the one to compare it to. But it looks like the viewership for the NBA is up, especially if it seems as if, basketball is going to be competitive. So people going to watch sports. They're going to watch basketball. casual fans. I mean, Milwaukee, they had the Deer District out there. I think it's 70,000 people standing outside. I mean, just the whole state just standing up for the team. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah, shout out to Milwaukee, but I just wanted to come in here and talk about those games. I did talk about game 1 and 2. I think 2 weeks ago, I want to say that was. So I did say I would speak on the NBA Finals and whoever won. And, yeah, P.J. Tucker beating all, seeing that P.J. Tucker beat all his teammates to get there. That's his old teammates at the Rockets. That's cool. That guy deserves it. Also, on the flip side, wouldn't mind seeing Chris Paul and that Phoenix team work. They work really hard. Monty Williams, those guys get a ring. But they should be able to be back. Booker will be around for a while, and he's going to have his teams. Some people, I believe, are going to come to Phoenix to play with him, and he'll be back. He'll be back for sure. This might have been his opportunity, but he will get a couple. I think at least 2 more shots at it. At least, like I said, the conference finals and get into the final. I think he'll have a chance for sure. Let's move on and stay in the basketball realm in second quarter in USA men's basketball. I was going to talk about this before, but they just lost to France, and Eric Fournier and Rudy Gobert are on France. Nick Batum. Those are the only. Oh, Frank Ntilikina, but he didn't play today. But he's. I mean, we got. I can't see the minutes. ESPN doesn't have the minutes, but we got Draymond with 2 points. Bam had 12. Drew Holiday led him with 18. Durant had 10. He had 10. Lillard had 11. Levine had 8. Those were the starters. Tatum had 9. Chris Middleton and Booker are just exhausted. I'm sure. I mean, they're not ready to play right now. They need at least a week, I think, to just kind of get their legs under them and just kind of, get it together. Drew Holiday's just a different type of machine. He just works differently. He just moves differently. And then Drew doesn't. I mentioned this to somebody I was talking to. He plays really hard on defense, but he's so good. He doesn't play as hard as how good he is. Because if he played as hard as how good he was, he would be probably exhausted and he would be a more dominant player. I mean, he's really, really good both ends of the court at doing pretty much everything, but he plays with more of his pace, how he wants to play in the game, how he wants to operate. So, I mean, he's still one of the, premier players in the NBA. But if he wants to be a dog and kill folks, he really, really could. So we'll see. We'll see what he does with his next level, his skill set. But yeah, he led them today, and just losing for the first time. Just at the first time he lost since 2004. I don't know if it means anything, honestly. I mean, eventually these teams were. It was going to happen. It was inevitable. It's not like they were just going to, go 20, 30 years without ever losing in an actual Olympic game. I mean, they lost, the exhibition games. It's just how it is. I mean, all the best players in the world aren't playing for the United States, but these guys are better than every other team. Popovich did get on TV, or he did talk to a journal or media. It was a media press conference, and talk about blowing out teams. And yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. It's not going to happen anymore. You just keep blowing out teams. And I think, in a sense, the USA is just used to blowing out teams or winning by, being comfortable throughout the game. And that's just not going to happen anymore. And most of the guys, too, that are on the other countries, they play with these NBA guys. They scout them. So they're able to go back and tell their buddies, like, oh, yeah, do this, guard them like this, guard them like this. And then, NBA guys aren't going. I mean, they're playing hard. They want to win and whatnot, but they're not playing like it's on the line, like in the NBA. Like if it was NBA Finals, they would be, playing a lot better. 76 points is it's crazy. That's just a a super low amount of points for an NBA team. Now, on the flip side of that, they have a bunch of guys that do the same thing. Durant and Lillard are a small and tall version of each other. Tatum is the same way. Levine is virtually the same way. Levine is the only high flyer on the team. He's the only guy that can kind of get up and down like on a athletic type of, he's the Showtime guy. Normally they have a number of those guys, at least 2 or 3 of them. The rest of these guys, Booker, Tatum, Middleton, Durant, Lillard, Levine, the go-to guys, they do the same thing. Adebayo is like a kind of small forward-ish, power forward-ish. Draymond Green doesn't really work or help besides set screens and play some defense. But in the USA basketball, playing defense is a little bit overrated for the United States teams, where you just score more points than the other team, you're going to win. Like, that's just how that's going to work in the Olympic setting. There's other teams that just don't have enough guys like the NBA guys do. So McGee and Draymond, I don't what else to say. And then you kind of got like two goons in terms of like, I don't know, Kelvin Johnson. They putting faith, I guess, in him, or Pop wants him to play, or however the case may be. But he's not the guy you go to. Essentially, what the United States, what I would just do is I would just put the dogs out there. I would just line up Durant, Lillard, Tatum, Booker, and probably Middleton, and just punish them. Just keep a rotation of 2 of those guys on the court and just punish them. That's what I would probably do, and not worry about being big or small, and just hoop. Everything was kind of thrown together with the Olympics and whether it was going to go or not. So they'll be all right. I think they'll win. I highly doubt they lose. They'll win gold. They'll be fine. If they don't, they get silver or bronze. It's just it's very possible. I mean, they may not want it. The video of them singing "Happy Birthday" to Durant was just kind of funny. I'm sure everybody missed all the context of that and how it happened and why it happened, but that's funny. It's funny, it's entertaining, they are having a good time, and at the end of the day, for those guys, going over there is winning gold. It's the most important thing, but you want to be safe and you want to have fun. So definitely a wake-up call for them. They should be ready to go out there and play more competitive basketball, and at least make sure they're available, they're locked in and ready to win when it's winning time, and ultimately making the decisions now of who's taking those shots, who's the leader, who's the go-to guy, what's everybody's role, and that could be ironed out pretty quickly. Or, like I said, you just go out there and just hoop. Whoever's hot, you just get a ball to. So 2 basketball stories, and we're to halftime. I gotta get something here for halftime. Oh man, it'll be so awesome one day to have a sponsored halftime of Play Some DEE. Third quarter is Amazon's new, let me get this right, Amazon's new open world MMO PC game. It's called New World. Massive multiplayer online role playing. It's in closed beta right now. I've played some hours of it, and it is surprisingly good. For the people that like this type of stuff, will love it. You'll be able to sink hours and hours and hours of time into the game and virtually get pretty much whatever you want out of it. There's a PvP element, which is what I don't want to play a game that I'm just playing against the computer. I'm not going to play against the computer for hours. I will do it for a little bit of time. And I think these are one of the games that I'm pretty sure I will buy this and I will turn it on and just have something to do, to run around, something to accomplish. Just when just don't want to really do anything, there's those brainless moments where you just want to relax, and this game can do that for you. And it does bring some competitiveness to it, as well as there is a PvP dueling option, which a lot of people will find enjoyable, as long as the game doesn't introduce too much cheese, where so far it doesn't seem like there's that much cheese, but people will find it. But I do think they will fix it. It looks like the updates are coming fast and furious. They've already did maintenance on the servers. That's a big issue too. The servers went down for 3 hours. Amazon owns art. I don't know if Amazon Web Services is huge, and their developers got to be able to make the software run almost seamless with the servers. Server issues should not be an issue. Coding maybe and things of that nature can be, but not the servers. So having 3 hour maintenance would turn me off a lot, honestly. The game does release August 31st. Wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe pushed back a little bit after the beta and they get all the, if they really serious want to iron things out, because the beta is going to go on for a week and it started on the 19th or something, or I don't know, a couple days ago, and it's going to go, I think, to the 2nd. So they'll have some time to get feedback and then kind of clean things up. Because when the game launches, you want it to launch very, very smoothly and for people to play. Now, the flip side of this game, too, as well, is that Amazon owns Twitch. And the reason why I'm really talking about it and not talking about other games is because of the Twitch element to it, is that Amazon spoke about, I could probably find an article, but not too long ago, they spoke about wanting to get streamers and their chats and communities involved in what they do. Brilliant idea. I thought it was just lip service, but this game actually does it. There's actually people that are able to play along. It's not just you get in a chat and you just say, hey, you tell your favorite streamer to, do this, streamers need help. They ask their chat tells them. But now actually in game, it's like, hey, I need resources. Hey, I need somebody to fight with me. Hey, I need somebody to complete this mission with them. And they can actually do it with their community easier than you could before with, Call of Duties or other games where you got to figure out how to get them in your lobby, add friend requests. No, it's just a big open world. And as long as you're in the same world as your, favorite streamer or whatever, you can play alongside of them. And I think that's really, really huge. I don't know if Amazon has any more games or working with any more developers with games that making this a little bit more of an easy concept. It works here because it's a massive, open world, multiplayer. So that makes it a little bit different, but just making it a little more seamless for streamers to play with their communities. And I think that'll help. I think that'll help Twitch a lot, and it'll grow the platform even more. And it's also another avenue to get smaller streamers a way to grow a little bit. They'll be able to grow through games like this, where if, say you're in a raid with some people and they see like, oh, you're streaming too, and like, oh, he's really good, I want to watch. It's another good way of marketing your product, get more eyeballs on Twitch. And I think that's also the like New World / Twitch is third quarter, honestly, but that's the reason why it's in third quarter, because it's really more related to Twitch. But the game itself is looks like it'll be good, minus any game breaking hacks or weird stuff that people may try to do. And like I said, at the end of the day, cheese, because there's a war element. There's 3 factions, territories you're gonna take over. As long as there's no cheese in doing that, the game can have some staying power. The three factions, it's so big. I feel like it should be 4 or 5, but 3 is cool. And then you can flag for PvP, and there's no consequences of dying. It's the only thing I don't like. I do not know how. I never really understood how that concept will work. I feel like Tarkov does it the best that it's ever been done. You have an understanding of that hardcore play where, you lose. Escape from Tarkov. Yeah, I'm talking about another PC game where, oh yeah, and this is PC. There's no, it's just PC, no console. But you could see a console element happening here. I mean, it's not that many buttons. You can make console work for sure, but I just don't know I just don't know how the whole open world thing works with console and blase. So the penalty, it makes it a little more funner to be able to loot something off somebody you kill, running around the world. Well, I've read some things about New World where I guess before people were just getting jumped and their stuff jacked. So I guess before you could kill people when you would lose stuff, and it would create like a toxic PvP environment. So yeah, I guess I totally get that, where people would just be jacking people for their stuff. But I feel like, I don't know, it may not just be a way to do it, because they probably would have figured it out. But just dying with little to no consequences. I mean, maybe losing XP, because when you respawn, you can respawn in the world and turn off PvP. There should be some penalty for PvPing and dying. There should be a penalty for dying, period. Some way, shape, or form. So I do think that makes the game casual, which is cool, but it also could lead to boringness, redundancy, and just hoarding stuff. And eventually, you'll get to a point where, what are you doing it for? But maybe they'll keep it fresh and do that nature. Also, I feel like it is it's 11 weapons, I believe it is. I think it's 11 weapons. I guess that's okay. I just feel like it should be a couple more, and then how you put attributes towards them, it should be a little more to that, I think, as well. There should just be a little, the game's so in-depth, I think it should just be a little more in-depth. I feel like it could be broken apart a little bit more to make people get a little more detail-y and really tinker with stuff. But it's very solid, and it impressed me where I thought I would play it for a few seconds and literally turn it off. So New World from Amazon, solid game. And yeah, I'll be playing it for sure. So for the fourth and final quarter, we will be talking about Mr. West. Kanye West, to be exact. He was supposed to release Donda this past Friday. Did not happen. Supposed to. I kind of knew that wasn't gonna happen. Kanye's a troll, and Kanye's a weird dude that makes weird music. Now, so I'll just leave that there for that. So what I'm gonna do, I'll probably review Donda if it ever comes out. If it's good, I'll review it. Or decent, I'll review it. If it's bad, I'm not going to review it. I'm just not going to waste my time. But I did a couple weeks back, or however many weeks back, I did a Jay-Z tier list. So that's what we're going to do today, since Kanye has sparked up album news. So, you know how we does. I'm going to flip a Rooney over to the Rudy Tooty, and let's see. Yeah, that's annoying. So let me move my camera. Let me move my camera right over that. Everything else just keeps flipping and dipping and sipping. All right. So these are the albums. Kids See Ghosts. Kids See Ghosts. I have the wiki right here, right? Yeah, I do. That was Jesus. Jesus is Born. College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s and Heartbreaks, My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy, Watch the Throne. This is Jesus, right? Or Yay? That's Jesus. That's Jesus, Life Apollo, and that's Yay. All right, so the thing that Kanye has is arguably 3 to 4 classics, or maybe 4 to 5 classics. Watch the Throne is a classic. So this is awful. This is awful. So that goes down below. But yeah, whatever. I mean, the tier list, I'm just gonna put them in order. But this is awful. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, some people say is his best album. I don't think that. I think it's behind all 3 of these, all 4 of these, shall I say. But where I put these 4 is going to be difficult for me. Now, Life of Pablo falls behind. It's not right behind this, but I guess I can tier it because My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is monster. It isn't. It is up there for sure. It's one of the solid babies. 808 and Heartbreaks is Kids See Ghosts was actually good, and it would probably look something like this for me personally. 808 and Heartbreaks is really good, but it's really hard to listen to now. It was okay then, and it was decent to listen to and drive to, but I just think overall it's not that. It's not that good. Now these albums are really, really hard, and you kind of got to look at them. I mean, you really need a comparison sheet for them. College Dropout being his debut studio album, it is. I mean, you closed it with Last Call, which is just so classic. I mean, all of this. I mean, it's a classic for sure. This is a classic for sure. Late Registration comes next, and I mean, they're all so close. I mean, this is Touch the Sky, Gold Digger, Drive Slow, Roses, Diamonds. I mean, it gets a little. These are decent songs. Celebration, Hey Mom, like these are. Hey Mama's good. We majored. It's a couple songs in here that probably makes this lesser than College Dropout for sure, I would say. And then Graduation was, I think, the big seller. And it was solid. Good Morning Champion. I wonder. I think it definitely goes in front of Late Registration, and then Watch the Throne is so good. Watch the Throne's not even. Oh, it's collaborative. Oh yeah, Cruel. You don't really count. I guess you don't really count Cruel Summer. I didn't think about Cruel Summer, but then Watch the Throne. With the Lux albums, it makes it even better. I do think Watch the Throne is better than Graduation, barely. But Jay's in it, so I'm gonna give Graduation a nod because Jay is half of it. To be fair, and with those arguments, it could go here too. It probably could be like that because, in all fairness, it's a collaborative album, which heightens it. But in theory, in terms of album ranking, it would probably go there. But Kanye albums, I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna just put some context to it. So that's how it will look with Watch the Throne. Counting Jay-Z, it would go third for me, and then that's how the rest of them would go. I think that's probably should be somewhere near consensus to how it should look in my opinion. Yeah. Cool story, bro. Oops. So that was episode 22. Double deuce. 22. Yep. As we can see, Kanye's albums, New World from Amazon, new video game, solid game. USA men's basketball is giving the people some ooh, ha, ha, but, they don't got the greatest players, so, it's kind of, and they're kind of like, I'm here, but not really here. And then Milwaukee Bucks, shout out to them for winning the 2021 NBA Championship. Play some D, episode 22. Thank you for watching. If you don't mind, get a boy a little sub, little like, drop a little comment. Tell me what you think about, tier lists, New World, books, all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you. As always, until the next one, I holla.